So you like Dark Souls? Well, then you might like Dragon's Dogma. Yeah, that person out there who guessed right. Restructuring the show 3 episodes in.
You are watching Growing Up Gaming.
Yep, and I'm not gonna explain why, just roll with it.
You are watching Growing Up Gaming.
Hello and welcome everyone. Let me show you a game that you didn't know you loved. This is Dragon's Dogma, and if you like Dark Souls, well, then you might like this. As always, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons why this game is like the game you love, in a good way. And 1 reason why I think this game is better, in my opinion. At the beginning of Dark Souls, if you don't know, you take up the mantle as the chosen undead, and it is your task to rekindle the kiln of the first flame, to extend the Age of Fire. The Age of Fire was ushered in when Gwyn, who would become the Lord of Sunlight, defeated the immortal dragons and took their immortality for himself, allowing the kingdom to prosper and a new age of man to flourish. So, when you begin the journey in Dark Souls, the apocalypse has already happened. The world and its civilizations occupying it are gone. There are only a handful of humans left in this world. Everything is decayed and there are monsters everywhere. It is implied at the beginning of Dark Souls 2 that the flame was rekindled, and since then many kingdoms have risen and fallen, and the cycle of chosen undead has continued. Much in the same vein, the world of Dragon's Dogma is a game about the immortal world being embroiled in an eternal conflict with the immortal race of dragons. Much like Gwyn defeated the dragons in Dark Souls, it is the ruler of the kingdom of Grance's duty to initiate the worm hunt and drive the dragons back, allowing humanity to recover and blossom until the next hunt. The game opens up as your village is attacked by a dragon. You take up arms against the dragon, but the beast makes short work of you, and as a punishment for your hubris, the dragon takes your heart and curses you, taunting you to seek it out and take it back. It is your quest as the newly awakened Arisen, which is this game's version of being the chosen one, to aid the Duke's worm hunt, drive back the dragons and save humanity from dying out. And dying out it is. This is a world where humanity has been on the brink of extinction for as long as anyone can remember. The kingdom of Grances is made up of its capital, a few secluded settlements, and twice as many ruins that have long been abandoned to the monsters that are literally everywhere in this world. If Dragon's Dogma was from Software's title, it could very well serve as a prequel to the Dark Souls games, taking place in the time before Gwyn sacrificed himself to rekindle the flame. Every button press counts, and a single wrong button press can cost you a lot of progress. Enemies are tough as nails up front, and you have just moments to come up with the strategy and run with it, and if you don't commit, you die. Dragon's Dogma is at its core the same. Every enemy in the game has strengths and weaknesses, and you have but a few moments to come up with a battle strategy, or you will fail. Where Dragon's Dogma differs is in the numbers, both on the enemy side and also on yours. Unlike Dark Souls, you are not alone in Dragon's Dogma. At the beginning of the game you create a pawn, a servant that will aid you in your quest and become a companion throughout the game. But your pawn is not just an NPC that follows you around. As you progress through the game, your pawn will learn things about the world of Dragon's Dogma, like quests and fight tactics for monsters. Aside from your main pawn, you can recruit 2 extra pawns. These pawns are other people's main pawn from their game, and you can rent them to assist in your quest. If the pawn you have rented has already defeated a boss you're up against, they will shout the battle tactics and attack the boss's weak point without you having to find out for yourself. Much in the same, your pawn while rented out will do the same for other players. But the main thing to draw away from this is the size of your party. With 3 characters at your side. To make the game more challenging, the enemies often come in greater numbers as well. Where in Dark Souls you might face up against 3 enemies, in Dragon's Dogma you'll face up against 10, 20 enemies at a time, and how you approach them is crucial. In Dark Souls you have to dodge to get to an enemy's backside. In Dragon's Dogma you have to let your companions block the incoming attack so you can position yourself around the monster and attack its back. The recurring theme in this is positioning, and while Dragon's Dogma's combat might seem different at a distance, positioning yourself at the battlefield is just as important as in Dark Souls. Step too far to the right, dead. Step too far to the left, dead. Just like Dark Souls. At its core, both games are the same. The control of throwing anger is just as present in Dragon's Dogma as it is in Dark Souls. And so is the sweet, sweet taste of victory. As I said earlier, in Dark Souls you need to come up with a strategy and commit to it when facing an enemy. But that's a bit of an understatement. In Dark Souls you need to come up with a strategy and commit to it before you even know what enemy you're facing up against. Dragon's Dogma is much the same, but there's a lot more to it. While in Dark Souls you can run back to the enemy and try again, doing the same in this game might not yield the same result. Enemies in Dark Souls have one thing in common: they're allergic to sword strikes to the butt. Enemies in Dragon's Dogma, not so much. I mean, some are, but some are not, like these butt faces. You might get a quest to get rid of a bandit camp, and you go, okay, so I need sword guys that can do sword strike to the butt. So you head out to the bandit camp with your sturdy sword guys, and then bam, flying ghosts that don't give a crap about your swords, and bam, big lion snake goat monster. That's right, every enemy has vastly different strengths and weaknesses, and you need to be stocked up on items that they are weak to, and make sure you have the right pawns equipped, and that your characters have the right skills equipped for the different battle tactics. And you need to be prepared for anything, anytime, all the time, and I love it. In Dark Souls, every item is greatly appreciated, and the equipment isn't something you come by often, and when you do, it's so sweet. Dragon's Dogma is much the same. I mean, you can buy crappy, boring equipment at your local blacksmith, but if you want the sweet loot, you're gonna have to be patient and do some hard quests, as these will yield upgrade items for your boring normal equipment, and sometimes sweet looking loot like this freaky bird cloak. In all seriousness, the scarcity of good equipment really makes you appreciate when you finally find that sweet piece of loot, like this freaky bird cloak that I wear as a badge of honor for most of the game. Nothing is obvious. You have a rough idea of what the game expects you to do, but every time you meet a character they talk in riddles, and instead of clearing up the plot, they further cloud it. Dragon's Dogma is much the same. Characters might not talk to you in riddles, but they will talk to you like you live in this world, and therefore they don't do the usual JRPG exposition and explain why the world around you is where it is, and why you're the chosen one and what that means. Investing yourself in the lore? That's completely up to you. You can go through the entire game and completely miss out of most of the backstory of this world. Dark Souls is hard. It has a tutorial, sure, and it shows you the ropes, but after you awaken Firelink Shrine, the world is completely open to you, and you can go in whatever direction you want, but every direction but one will get you killed, and that will get you off to a bad start. Look, I'm not a fan of hand-holding, but Dragon's Dogma is also hard. There's a tutorial, sure, and it shows you the ropes, but after you awaken in Casadis, the world is completely open to you, and you can go in whatever direction you want, but every direction but one will get you killed and get you off to a bad start. However, because of the level design, the orientation of this encampment drives you to head in the right direction, and the game will use this mind trickery again and again to guide you to your next objective without directly telling you. And it's nice to never get truly lost or stuck, but not feel like the game is holding your hand. No hand holding is great, as it makes you feel like a champion when you succeed, but in Dark Souls, this no hands approach can sometimes disrupt the flow of the game and take you out of the experience. So if you want to get into that franchise, Dragon's Dogma might be a good springboard actually. It's like baby's first Soul game, and it's great. You can climb the giant monsters and attack their weak points, and that's cool. Bye. Okay, so now I have 30 seconds until this video is done, and I just want to say thanks for watching, and please subscribe. And if you have a game that you really like, and you maybe want a recommendation on another game, just leave a comment down below, and I'll see if I can make it into a video. Thank you.